Hi everyone, welcome back. So here we have my hazelnut trees. These were grown, the video was 6 years ago now, the original video where I grew these from seed. So I've got 4 left out of the ones I grew. Not sure what happened to the rest, can't remember. They've all had various bits and bobs doing to them over the years. Obviously they've all been chopped down small. This one I put in a little bonsai pot last year, I think, or the year before. That was the smallest one. So today I'm going to be repotting them. So I haven't touched the roots since I grew them from the seeds. All I've done is prune the tops and kept them in these big flower pots. So we'll get them out and they'll have their first root pruning. Maybe I'll put them in nicer pots, depends if I can find something. So stay tuned. Back to you in a sec and we'll make a start. So I'll give you a quick look at them before we start. So that's the one I've put in a bonsai pot already. That one there has had a load of drastic chops. It's still in a flower pot. These two here still in flower pots as well. That one's growing a bit funny. It's been chopped multiple times. That one there is the nicest one, I think. That big one. Sorry if you can hear the geese in the background. They're being really noisy. I think they can hear me talking. They're over in their pen at the moment. That big one there is the nicest one, like I said. It's a nice twin trunk sort of style. I did think last year, I thought maybe I can chop one of these off and grow it as a nice single trunk, but I think I'm just going to leave it. So these are all been grown using clip and grow, no wire on them at all. So I think I'll start with the big one. That's the most interesting one. So I'll get the other ones out of the way and we'll make a start on the repot. Okay, so first things first, let's get this out of the pot. Oh, that was easy. So I think I repotted this last year, but it would have only been just a standard knocking some soil off and putting it in. I didn't prune any roots. So I'm going to give it a proper repot today. We're going to sort all the roots out, get rid of any that are no good. So we've got to get all this soil off first. So I'm just going to chip away at it with my little trowel. I've also got my chopstick here, which is quite useful. And I've got a fork which I've bent the prongs. Again, it's quite useful. And I've got a little rake which came with one of those little bonsai kit things or something. We've got a few of these lying around the house. I don't know where they all come from, but that's okay. The most useful one I find is the chopstick, but for big ones like this, I'll just generally just knock most of it off with a little trowel or something. But there's no point in me showing you the whole thing, so I'll crack on, get as much soil off as I can. Right, so I'm making a bit of progress now. It looks like it's been planted in mud. I've got a habit of, because I've got a veg garden out there, and I generally put all the chicken manure and all the old compost on the veg bed, so when I've run out of compost I tend to just scoop up some of that and use it to repot stuff. So this is basically just mud from the garden. I can actually see there's actually some mycelium in here, which is a beneficial fungus. So if you see all these like white thready bits, if you see them in your compost, that's actually a good thing, so don't worry about it. It's like a symbiotic relationship with the tree and the roots. The microscopic fibres of the fungus spread throughout the whole soil system, and it helps feed the roots of the trees and stuff. So you see this stuff? A little white speck there. So anyway, I'm just chipping away still. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. It's a lot lighter now. So, see, the roots don't look too bad. You can see some thick radial ones. Whether or not we'll be able to keep them up, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to carry on. We're almost done now, and then we'll get the roots washed. So I think I've got off what I can for now. So the roots don't actually look too bad. There's one really big thick one there, which will probably have to go. It's out of proportion with the rest. And there's a couple of higher ones up here we can probably get rid of. The trunk flares a bit better down there. So we'll take this over, wash it off, and we'll have a look, see what we've got to work with. Right, so into the bucket it goes. I decided not to use the water butt and to use a bucket instead, so that the soil gathers at the bottom and I can just empty it rather than have to empty the whole water butt. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So we'll take it back in and we'll have a look. Oh, the sun's come out briefly. Big old black clouds hanging around up there. Yeah, it got quite cold last night, minus 1.6 in here. I didn't think it was going to get that cold, so I didn't put the heater on. But none of the plant pots are frozen, so maybe because of where the thermometer is, it got cooler up there. But anyway, back to this tree. What do I do about these roots? I think what I've decided to do, obviously this big thick one's got to go, or most of it, because it goes down, it curls back up a bit. I think I'm going to get rid of these two high ones there, and then underneath there's a couple more littler ones, and we'll use this one. That's quite a nice root there. These ones are okay. There's a gap there, but hopefully something else will grow. There is another root, a bigger one below here, which we'll have to remove. Remove most of it, because there's another little one growing there which we can use. So these two thick ones up the top here, or three, there's a little one there. So they've got to go. So let's get them off. That one, and there was a little one which has disappeared. I haven't cut it off yet. Not them ones. Okay, we're going to keep them two. We'll keep that one, most of it. We'll take off from there. So we've got some radial roots that way. This big thick one I'm going to cut right back to about there. Try and get it out. And it goes down, hopefully you can see, there's a lot of soil on here now, under there. But we've got this big thick bit here, just almost as thick as the trunk up here. So I'm looking to take that whole bit off. I'm going to cut it back for now. Just to there. Get rid of that. That's a thick bit of root there. So that would have been the tap root. And it's hit the bottom of the pot and spread out at the bottom. So that's no good. We don't want that. So it's looking a bit better now. Got some radial roots here. This one is fine for now. So we've got more going downwards here. This one comes from the other side. So that's got to go. It goes right underneath. Okay, now I think we can take off more of that big thick bit. Now that we can see it. I'll get the secateurs in there. Okay. Some more of that off. And now it's just tidying up underneath. Any other ones that are pointing straight down. I'll take a bit more of that thick one there. I think that's all that needs doing for now. We'll let the roots recover. Hopefully we'll get some more coming out from around here. So we've got a little bit of a bulge there from where them two roots were. And it looks like I've pruned off a couple of branches from around here. So we can tidy that up in the future. I can't cut close to the trunk with my secateurs, and I haven't got any branch cutters or root pruners or anything yet. There's a bud down there. I'm just going to pinch that off. Get this moss off. So once I've got something I can get right into the trunk, I can tidy them up. But it's not too bad. I'm going to bury it back that way to about there anyway, and see what roots generate over the next year or two. I'm not going to prune the length of these off. I might just take that big one back of it, that thick one, just to reduce its vigour. As you see, that one's a bit thicker than the others. But all these I'm just going to let grow. There's no point in pruning the ends. We can tuck it in around the side of a plant pot. They'll carry on growing, and hopefully new ones will come out from around there. So I'll go grab a pot, a suitable pot. So that's all the roots that come off. About 80% or more. We'll get rid of them. And I've been waiting for an excuse to use this pot that I made. See, it says kit on the bottom there. This is just made of concrete. I've tried to put 4 little feet on it. I made it a bit thick, so it weighs an absolute ton. But it's got a nice big drainage hole. It's a little bit small, but I think that'll look quite nice in there. Yeah. So I've got some soil here ready to go. So you probably know what soil I use. It's just a gritty mix. It's got a rather large hole in the bottom there, so I'm going to have to cover that with something. I'll just go and find a bit of mesh or something. Okay, so I can't find anything, so I've just got a bit of, it is a bit of a Hessian sack, but I've spread it apart a bit to loosen up the weave so it's got some nice holes. And obviously it's biodegradable, so it won't last forever, but it will just stop the soil coming out the bottom until the roots are holding it all in anyway. So that's in there, and I'll fill it up with soil, just put a little mound in the middle. Like so. And then we'll get the tree. I'm going to bury it. I'm going to bury all the roots. I'm not leaving any exposed at the moment. So I'm going to bury it down to about there. And I'm going to try and keep it upright. Just make sure these roots are going the way I want them. So that looks good. Carry on filling it up. I'll just wiggle it around and try and work the soil in, make sure it's all underneath. Make sure there's no air pockets. And fill the rest up. And check the angle. I think that's good. And then we'll firm it all in around the roots. I tend to just use my finger. You can use a tool if you want. Maybe when I'm using proper bonsai soil, I might need to use something like a chopstick or something to poke it in, but it's just normal soil, so it's quite easy to get it in the gaps, and when I water it, it will wash through anyway. So I'm going to fill it right up to the brim. Like so. And then I'll just press it all in. Like that. Then when it rains or whatever, it shouldn't run straight off. We've got about ½ centimetre lip around the whole thing, and the pot kind of goes in like that anyway, so oops. Okay, now I'll get some water. Always try and clean off the edge of the pot and the trunk when I'm watering it. And then I'll let it soak in for a minute and then come back and water it again. Okay, so that's that done. That's a nice little tree, I think. Suits that pot, I think. So I'll just give it another water. One more thing I will do is grab a couple of rocks just to make it a bit more stable in there until the roots have filled in. When the roots have filled in the soil, it will hold it all in. But for now, we'll just put some rocks there. So that's that one done. Okay, so that's the repot complete for this hazelnut tree. I think it's a really nice little tree now, and I think this little concrete pot that I made really suits it. So I was going to repot the two of the other ones today as well, but this video is getting on now, so I think they'll be in another video, or I'll just get them done. It'll be the same process. So if you want to see that as well, let us know. If not, I'll probably just repot them another time. I don't want to bore you with all the repotting, but anyway, so I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I think it's a really nice little tree now. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later, everyone.